The internet did not wake up prepared for this level of chaos. Out of nowhere, like lightning striking a gas leak, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, every corner of the culture went into full-blown meltdown mode. People were posting in all caps, fans were yelling, "Ain't no way this is real," and the group chats were literally on fire. Because overnight, while everyone was sleeping peacefully, thinking the beef between Drake and Childish Gambino was old news, a leaked message supposedly from Drake's legal team hit the timeline and it changed everything. Screenshots started circulating, claiming Drake's lawyers were gearing up to respond to Gambino with a massive career-shaking threat. Something so wild that even people who don't follow rap drama were like, hold on, what did Donald Glover do this time? The rumors were vicious. The street said Gambino had been planning some type of art piece that went too far. Fans said Drake was done playing nice and sent the lawyers in. And influencers? Oh, they were eating this up, dropping reaction videos like they were on payroll. Every hour, a new claim surfaced. A new insider stepped forward. Sources say Drake feels blindsided. Allegedly, Gambino mocked something he shouldn't have. Unconfirmed reports claim OVO is preparing files. It was giving setup, it was giving revenge arc, and it was giving this beef just evolved into a whole new monster. Live spaces popped off with thousands of listeners arguing over whether the leak was even real. TMZ-style pages were scraping screenshots as fast as people could delete them, and fans, they were shocked. Emotions were running high. Old interviews resurfaced. Old subtweets got dragged back into the light. Everyone had an opinion and nobody had the truth. And just so we're clear, this video includes dramatized, fictionalized scenes for entertainment. But one thing was certain, something happened that the public was never supposed to see. And now, the whole situation didn't begin with a tweet, a meme, or some random fan theory. According to people close to both camps, it started weeks earlier, quietly, behind closed doors, in a way that almost feels scripted, like someone was setting up the perfect storm. Because while the world thought Drake and Childish Gambino's back and forth was basically over, old jokes, old shade, nothing serious, the truth is that tension had been simmering, slowly, quietly, silently, like pressure in a pipe, waiting for the wrong moment to explode. And word on the street is that moment came during a private industry mixer in Los Angeles, a place where rappers, actors, producers, and random plus ones pretend they like each other while secretly plotting their next move. Multiple sources say Drake wasn't even supposed to be there. He arrived late, wearing a gray hoodie, pulled low, and moving with that "I'm not here for attention" energy. Gambino, on the other hand, was already inside, laughing loudly, telling stories, giving movie director meets alt-rapper vibes. People said the energy shifted the second the two realized they were in the same room. No yelling, no confrontation. Just that uncomfortable stillness you feel when two people with unresolved beef end up breathing the same air. Allegedly, one producer who was standing near Gambino overheard him saying something about a project dropping soon, something risky, something that would flip old narratives on their head. The producer didn't think much of it until later, when all the chaos started. Because now looking back, that moment felt like the spark before the wildfire. Drake reportedly clocked the comment too. Witnesses claim he didn't react outwardly, but he definitely heard it. His jaw tightened, his hand went into his pocket, and one person swears he muttered, "Here we go again." But he didn't confront Gambino, didn't say a word. Instead, he left early, sliding out the back door so quietly that most people didn't even realize he was gone. That should have been the end of it, but the industry has eyes everywhere, and within 24 hours, whispers were floating around about Gambino having some kind of creative piece that allegedly took shots at Drake, not a diss track. Something weirder, something artsy, something only Gambino would cook up. Fans started speculating, was it a short film, a music video, a skit? Nobody knew, but the rumor was spreading and the whispers got louder when a mysterious clip surfaced online. It wasn't long, maybe 12 seconds of grainy footage, but it showed a blurred figure, reportedly Gambino, standing in a dimly lit room while a voice in the background joked about the biggest rapper in the world taking everything too seriously. The internet ran with it immediately. Some claimed it wasn't Gambino at all. Others insisted it was a 100% him, and that he was about to drop the most disrespectful piece of art since This Is America. That clip alone caused so much confusion that people were already picking sides. But what came next is what lit the match under OVO, a supposed leaked audio dropped from an anonymous account. One of those faceless burner accounts with 0 followers, and the username that looks like someone smashed their keyboard. The audio was messy, full of echoes and background noise, but you could clearly hear a conversation. 2 men, one saying, "He's gonna be mad, but that's the point." The other laughing like he already knew the chaos that was coming. Fans claimed it was Gambino and someone from his team. Others said the voices didn't match at all, but that didn't matter. The perception already formed. Whatever Gambino was planning, it involved Drake. And it wasn't friendly. Within hours, people close to Drake allegedly sent him the audio. And that's when the tone shifted. According to insiders, Drake pulled his team together on a late-night conference call, not the whole OVO army, just a small circle, lawyers included. One of the lawyers, a guy known for handling high-profile celebrity disputes, supposedly said, "If this is real, we need to intervene before it escalates." Another argued they should wait. But Drake reportedly wasn't in a patient mood. After everything, past shade, old interviews, the This Is America story resurfacing like a ghost, you could tell he was done playing nice. "Handle it," he allegedly said. 2 simple words, but with the kind of weight that makes people stop talking. That's when the legal gears started turning. Now, here's where the story gets messy, because everyone has a different version of what happened next. Some sources claim Drake's team drafted a quiet behind-the-scenes warning, a letter meant to stay private, something professional, something that basically said, if you're planning to defame or exploit Drake's name, you're playing a dangerous game. Others say the letter wasn't quiet at all, that it was aggressive, borderline threatening, not physically, but legally. Something with phrases like potential damages, intentional harm, and preemptive action, stuff that makes even creative geniuses freeze in their tracks. And then, like the universe was bored and wanted to stir the pot, the leak happened. Somebody, still unknown, posted what they claim was a screenshot from Drake's legal team. A message referencing an undisclosed creative project, warning it may constitute a deliberate act of harassment or misrepresentation, and stating that Drake has authorized his legal team to pursue all necessary measures. Whether it was real or fake didn't even matter. People believed it. The screenshot spread like wildfire. Every blog page reposted it. Every messy drama account slapped a caption on it like, "Y'all see this?" Fans were making memes. Others were panicking. Some were yelling that Drake had gone too far. Others said Gambino deserved it. Some insisted it was staged for publicity. It was chaos, pure digital combustion. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, both camps scrambled. Gambino's side allegedly held a late-night meeting. One insider says Gambino was half amused, half irritated. "I didn't even release anything yet," he reportedly said. "How they mad over art they haven't seen?" Another source claims he was more stressed than he let on, pacing around a studio, asking his team which one of them talked too much. Drake's camp, on the other hand, doubled down. They didn't confirm or deny the leak, which only made it worse. Silence from a powerhouse team always speaks louder than words. And while the 2 stars kept quiet, the streets were loud. People were arguing in barbershops. Podcasters were tripping over their microphones trying to analyze what this meant for hip-hop. Fans were posting theories at 3 a.m. like they were solving a crime. But the biggest twist? The one nobody saw coming? The one that made everything explode? It wasn't the leak. What showed up next wasn't a screenshot or a leaked text or some blurry audio file that could be dismissed as fan-made. No, this time it was a full-blown video, 38 seconds long, uploaded anonymously, then deleted within minutes. But not before half the internet grabbed it, screen recorded it, and turned it into the most talked about clip of the week. The video was dark, grainy, clearly recorded on some dusty old phone, but the audio was clean, too clean, suspiciously clean, and that's why it hit so hard. It opened with a door closing, thunk, and the sound of someone pacing, shoes tapping against a concrete floor. Then a familiar voice, one that sounded eerily like Donald Glover's, saying, "He can't stop the art, no matter how big he thinks he is." Another voice, deeper, responded, "If you do this, be ready for the fallout." A slight laugh followed. "Oh, the fallout is the point." Then silence, a long, tense silence that made everyone feel like something dangerous was brewing right beneath the surface. The second the clip hit Twitter, the timeline imploded. People were screaming, "This is Gambino." Others said it was an AI fake. Others said it came from inside Gambino's camp, leaked by someone fed up with the whole project. Some thought Drake's team leaked it to paint Gambino in a bad light. The conspiracy charts were looking like algebra homework, tangled arrows pointing everywhere. And while the fans were losing their minds, the media got involved. Blog pages posted headlines like, "Did Gambino just declare war on Drake?" And audio leak shows, "Gambino preparing the fallout." Entertainment journalists were calling every insider they knew, trying to get a confirmed quote from either camp, but both sides stayed silent. The silence only made the frenzy grow, but behind closed doors, things were far from silent. According to a source with knowledge of the situation, Drake's team went into immediate lockdown mode. Phones confiscated, meetings held in person only, lawyers on standby. One attorney, known for being the calm, strategic type, allegedly said, "We're not dealing with an ordinary artist. He's unpredictable. This could be performance art or it could be defamation. We need clarity." Another lawyer reportedly slammed his folder closed and said, "We need to hit back before he does. If this is the direction he's going, we can't wait." Drake, sitting at the head of the table, said almost nothing. One insider claims he just sat there tapping his finger against the table, the way he does when he's thinking something through. Finally, he lifted his head and said, "Protect the brand. Protect the name, that's all." Meanwhile, across the city, in a warehouse-style studio with dim lights and scribbled storyboards pinned to the walls, Gambino was having his own meeting. His team was in chaos, half defending him, half urging caution. One assistant reportedly told him, "If this gets uglier, it's going to overshadow the art." Gambino allegedly shrugged and said, "Maybe that's the art." Another person in the room snapped back, "Drake isn't someone you poke lightly. His team will crush this." Gambino didn't flinch. He looked up from his laptop and replied, "They can't crush what they don't understand." But the real drama began when a secondary leak hit the internet, one that changed the entire narrative. A user on Reddit claimed to have hacked into a shared document belonging to someone in Gambino's creative team. They posted a screenshot of what looked like concept notes for a short film titled "The Boy Who Was Everywhere." The notes described scenes that people immediately interpreted as thinly veiled shots at Drake, a character who wears luxury coats and never goes anywhere alone, a man who collects allies like jewelry, a musician who gets lost in his own myth. Gambino's fans argued it was metaphorical. Drake's fans said it was disrespectful. Everyone else, they were just enjoying the spectacle. But when the screenshot made its way to Drake's legal team, allegedly forwarded by a fan, they took it seriously. Too seriously. According to an insider, the mood shifted from concerned to aggressive. "If this is real," one lawyer said, "we might have to file something preemptively." And that's when the whisper started. The threat letter, the one everyone on the internet claimed was fake, might have actually been real. Before anyone could breathe, before anyone could fact-check, before the smoke from the last leak even cleared, a mysterious Instagram account posted a DM conversation with someone claiming to be from Drake's camp. The message said, "We are prepared to escalate legally if defamatory content is released. This is not a joke." The DM then vanished minutes later. The account was deleted. But screenshots live forever. Twitter was on fire. Fans were yelling, "Drake is done playing. Gambino just woke a sleeping giant. This is about to get messy." Even celebrities started chiming in. One actor posted a cryptic tweet that said, "Artists who think they're untouchable eventually get touched." People assumed he meant Gambino. He later claimed he was talking about the industry in general, but nobody believed him. And then, because drama never travels alone, another twist hit. A former OVO affiliate, someone who hadn't been seen with Drake in years, jumped on IG Live late at night talking wild. He said things like, "Drake been tired of that dude, and y'all ain't heard nothing yet." He hinted that the friction goes deeper than the public knows, that there were meetings back in 2018 that didn't go well, that Gambino had been planning something for years. Was he telling the truth? Was he chasing clout? Nobody knows, but he added fuel to a fire already blazing. The next morning, more madness. A Hollywood assistant, anonymous, of course, claimed Gambino recently met with a well-known director to finalize the visual project and that the director told him, "This might get you sued." Gambino allegedly just laughed. Meanwhile, Drake's legal team held another private meeting. One lawyer reportedly said, "If he releases anything that implies wrongdoing or mocks personal events, we go nuclear." Another warned, "We need evidence before acting. If we move too early, it becomes a PR nightmare." But Drake allegedly shut down the debate, saying, "Just be ready." The tension was so thick you could slice it. And then something happened that made it worse, much worse. A leaked voice memo, supposedly from someone in Gambino's circle, hit Twitter. The voice whispered, "The surprise final scene, that's the part that'll really get him." People replayed that clip 1,000 times, trying to decode it. What was the final scene? Why was it dangerous? Why would it get Drake? Drake's team heard it too, and one lawyer reportedly said, "If that's what I think it is, we're filing." And fans were losing their sanity, pacing around their rooms like they were personally involved. But the real curveball wasn't the leaks. It was who stepped into the drama next. Someone neither rapper wanted involved. Someone with history, someone whose name alone could blow the situation wide open. What nobody expected, what absolutely nobody saw coming, was that a third party, someone with deep ties to both Drake and Gambino, was about to enter the battlefield. And once his name dropped into the conversation, the internet lost its collective mind. Because the person who stepped forward wasn't some random producer or a disgruntled team member or a washed-up affiliate chasing nostalgia. No, the person who inserted himself into the crossfire was none other than a rival rapper with a long, messy, complicated history with both artists. A rapper whose name, when whispered, makes the entire industry tense up. A rapper who allegedly had beef with Drake years ago and who reportedly felt overshadowed by Gambino during a festival lineup in 2019. A rapper who fans instantly recognized the moment he posted a cryptic tweet saying, "Funny how people get sensitive when the truth is about to drop." Within seconds, fans were screaming, "Is he talking about Drake or Gambino?" 10 seconds later, "Nah, he's talking about both." 30 seconds later, "The real beef was three-way this whole time." The tweet itself wasn't that explosive. It was the follow-up that detonated everything, because he went on IG Live, and the IG Live was pure chaos. He didn't say Drake's name, he didn't say Gambino's name, but he didn't have to. His grin, the smug tone, the way he dragged out certain syllables, everyone knew exactly who he meant. "Y'all about to see what happens when actors try to play rapper," he said, pacing around the room like he was waiting for someone to challenge him. "And when rappers try to play victim, this ain't the era to poke the bear." People started flooding the comments. "Drop names. Stop talking in riddles. Is this about Gambino? What did Drake do? Bro, just say it." He kept smiling. "Let the art speak," he said. "Let the lawyers panic." That line alone sent shockwaves across the internet. Meme pages went insane. Drama channels made 10-minute reaction videos dissecting his tone, his body language, even the angle of his camera like they were decoding an ancient prophecy. Twitter went full detective mode, pulling up old photos, old festival footage, old interviews where he stood awkwardly near Drake or avoided eye contact with Gambino. People were building timelines like they were constructing court cases. And the crazy part? The rival rapper didn't deny any of it. He didn't clarify, he just threw gasoline on the fire and logged off, which put unbearable pressure on both Drake's team and Gambino's team. Because now the narrative wasn't just Drake versus Gambino. It was turning into a full-blown power triangle with a wild card stirring the pot and making everything 10 times worse. And that wild card wasn't done. Hours later, he posted a black screen with the words, "When the film drops, remember I warned you." This sent the Gambino camp into a frenzy. According to an insider, Gambino stormed into a meeting room holding his phone, screen still lit. "Why is he involving himself?" he demanded. His team stared back, nervous. One assistant finally said, "Maybe he knows something we don't." Gambino reportedly froze, then whispered, "He shouldn't." Back across the city, Drake's team saw the same post and immediately went into defense mode. One attorney said, "If he's involved, this complicates everything." Another lawyer added, "This could make the courts view the project as orchestrated harassment." Drake, leaning back in his chair, reportedly muttered, "I knew he'd try something." But the real shocker came next. A secret meeting supposedly happened between the rival rapper and someone tied to Gambino's production team. The meeting wasn't confirmed publicly, but fans claimed a waiter at the restaurant posted a blurry photo showing two silhouettes that definitely looked like them. The internet roasted that restaurant employee for risking his job, but he doubled down and said, "All I know is they were talking loud and saying Drake's name over and over." Whether the photo was real or not didn't matter. The rumor spread like wildfire, and within hours, the story evolved into something even darker. Now people were saying the rival rapper wasn't just inserting himself for clout. He was actively helping Gambino finalize the project, helping him sharpen the scenes, helping him refine the metaphors, helping him make the film even more pointed, even more dangerous. Fans were saying, this is a setup. Others were saying Gambino is pulling a Joker arc. Some said, the culture is about to shift. This is history. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, Drake's team was spiraling. One lawyer allegedly slammed a stack of paperwork onto the table. If this film portrays him inaccurately, if it implies any wrongdoing, if it even hints at defamation, we can hit them with everything we've got. Another lawyer argued, but we don't know what's actually in the film. We're operating blind. Drake finally stood up. Then find out. It sounded like a normal instruction, but the weight behind it, heavy, serious, dangerous. Some fans claimed Drake sent people to quietly sniff around the production. Others said he hired a private investigator. None of this was confirmed, but in a story full of leaks, nothing felt impossible anymore. Meanwhile, Gambino's team was having its own meltdown. Someone had leaked internal scenes. Someone had leaked concept art. Someone had leaked notes. Gambino allegedly gathered everyone in the studio and said, "One of you is talking, and if I find out who, this project will be the least of your worries." A thick silence fell over the room, and then one person whispered, "It wasn't us." Rumors say that's when Gambino realized the rival rapper might have his own insider feeding leaks, that someone who once worked with Gambino but left on bad terms may have teamed up with the rival rapper to stir chaos from the shadows. It was giving betrayal. It was giving backstabbing. It was giving, you were never loyal to begin with. But the final straw, the moment that turned everything from messy drama to nuclear warfare, came from a completely unexpected direction. A junior attorney on Drake's legal team, someone quiet, someone who never spoke up in meetings, suddenly said, "I've seen something." Everyone turned. She pulled out her phone, opened a saved file, and played it. It was an unreleased snippet, audio from the rumored film project, crisp, professional, edited, and unmistakably mocking Drake. Not subtly, not metaphorically, directly. A voice in the clip, sounding exactly like Gambino, said, Some people live in mansions made of mirrors, but still can't face themselves. Then laughter, then a beat drop, then another voice, possibly the rival rapper, saying, "Tell him we're just getting started." When the clip ended, the room was silent. Then Drake spoke. "File it," he said. 2 words, but this time everyone moved. Meanwhile, fans online were still arguing, still debating theories, still convinced that the final leak hadn't surfaced yet, but it had. And both teams knew it. And neither was ready for the explosion that was coming next. What happened next didn't feel like regular celebrity drama anymore. It felt like the entire industry took a deep breath and braced for impact. Because once Drake gave the order to move forward, his legal team activated like a machine. Phone calls went out, drafts were written, people were pulled out of dinners, out of studios, out of their beds, and according to one insider, they were working with an urgency that felt personal. This wasn't just business. This was reputation warfare. One lawyer reportedly said, "If we don't step in now, the narrative will run without us." Another replied, "The narrative already is." Drake, sitting at the head of the table watching everything unfold, kept a steady expression, but sources say his frustration was boiling under the surface. "This should have never gotten this far," he allegedly muttered. "It's art, not an attack." But the leaked clip suggested otherwise, and whether Gambino intended it to be serious or not didn't matter. What mattered was perception, and perception was spiraling. Across the city, Gambino's camp was in a very different kind of chaos. There was no legal team sprinting between offices, no corporate-style panic. Instead, there was a strange mixture of excitement, tension, and pure creative adrenaline. Gambino was reportedly pacing around the studio, headphones around his neck, laptop open to a timeline full of scenes. "They're reacting to something unfinished," he said, laughing softly. "Imagine how they'll act when they see the final version." One of his producers looked stressed. "This is turning into a war," he warned. "People are choosing sides. They're dragging your name." "Drake's team is losing it," Gambino shrugged. "They're playing chess," he said. "I'm making theater." Another team member asked, "But why target Drake? Why make him the focus?" Gambino didn't answer immediately. He stared at the storyboard pinned on the wall, drawings of a character wearing luxury coats, a character surrounded by shadows carrying torches, a character lost in reflections. Finally, he said, "I'm not targeting him. I'm targeting what he represents." But there was tension in his voice, and his team felt it. Meanwhile, back with Drake's camp, lawyers were going back and forth over legal language. Phrases like intentional misrepresentation, potential defamatory implications, likelihood of reputational harm. It was serious, heavy, and the more his team talked, the more Drake realized this wasn't just about the film anymore. It was about the message it sent. One lawyer asked, "Do you believe he's doing this maliciously?" Drake paused. "I don't know what he's doing," he said. "That's the problem." But then another twist hit the internet, this time from a source nobody expected. A sound engineer, someone who allegedly worked on a mixing session for Gambino's project, posted a cryptic message on Reddit. "Y'all don't know the half of it. The final scene will break the internet." People immediately freaked out. What final scene? Why was everyone referencing it? What was in it? Theories flooded every platform imaginable. One person claimed it showed a Drake lookalike in a vulnerable moment. Another swore it depicted a metaphorical destruction of a kingly figure. A few thought it was psychological, symbolic, something that would go over Drake fans' heads. But one comment, quickly deleted but screenshot 500 times, said, "The cameo is the part that will blow up the feud." Cameo? Who? That one word sent the timeline into full panic mode. Everyone started guessing. Was it Kendrick? Was it The Weeknd? Was it some old collaborator turned enemy? Was it the rival rapper who already inserted himself into the drama? Fans were arguing like their lives depended on it. Meanwhile, Gambino's camp was scrambling to control the leak. One producer allegedly yelled, "Who is talking?" The engineer denied everything. Gambino didn't yell. He just sighed heavily. People can't keep things sacred anymore, he said quietly. They want to be part of the story. Back at OVO, someone slid a printed Reddit screenshot across the table to Drake. When he read the word cameo, witnesses say he leaned back, rubbed his forehead, and whispered, "Oh, hell no." One lawyer asked, "Do we escalate?" Drake didn't answer. Instead, he stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the skyline, and said, "What does he gain from this? What does he really want?" That's when an older advisor, someone who'd been with Drake for years, spoke up. "He wants attention," he said. "He wants discussion. He wants controversy. The more you fight it, the more you feed it." Drake turned around slowly. "And if the cameo is who I think it is?" Silence. Everyone knew who he meant. The rival rapper, the wild card, the chaos agent. Because if he appeared in Gambino's project even for a second, it would send the feud into a completely different dimension. It would be the industry equivalent of lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. But the cameo rumor wasn't the only problem. A new anonymous audio leak dropped, this time longer, clearer, impossible to ignore. It featured what sounded like a heated conversation between two men. One voice, "He's going to retaliate, you know that, right?" The other, "Let him, it'll prove the point." First voice, "Bro, you're playing with fire." Second voice, "Art is supposed to burn." People immediately claimed it was Gambino and the rival rapper. Others said the voices didn't match, but the timing, the tone, the escalation, it all lined up too perfectly. And on top of everything else, a journalist from a major entertainment outlet tweeted, "Something big is happening this Friday. You'll understand the hint soon." The journalist didn't mention Drake, didn't mention Gambino, didn't mention the film, but the implication was there. People connected the dots instantly. Rumors exploded across the internet. The film drops Friday. Gambino about to premiere his diss project. Drake's team is scrambling. The cameo is real. The streets are saying it's about to get ugly. And the frenzy only intensified when Gambino himself fueled the fire. He posted a single, vague message on Instagram. "The art is almost ready." No caption, no context, just that. Within minutes, Drake's followers flooded the comments. Gambino's followers jumped in too. It turned into a digital boxing match. Insults flying everywhere, theories being thrown around like confetti. People were arguing about symbolism, lyrics, past interviews, even outfits. But while the fans were going crazy, the most important development happened behind closed doors. Drake's legal team finally drafted the official letter, a heavy threat. Serious tone, clear warnings. One insider said it was as direct as a legal document can get without being a lawsuit. The wording was sharp, purposeful, meant to send a message not just to Gambino, but to anyone involved. Collaborators, editors, producers. Someone in the room said, "Once this letter goes out, there's no turning back." Another corrected them. "We passed the point of no return days ago." Drake reviewed the document slowly, line by line. When he reached the final section, the warning about future legal escalation, he closed the folder, tapped it twice, and nodded. "Send it," he said. And with those two words, the legal threat officially became real. But the world didn't know yet. The fans didn't know yet. The media didn't know yet. Because before the letter could reach Gambino's team, before the news could break, before OVO could control the narrative, something happened. Something that made the legal threat look small. Something nobody, not Drake, not Gambino, not the rival rapper, was prepared for. A new leak hit the internet. A leak that revealed what was actually in the final scene of the project. And once people saw it, the entire internet stopped breathing. Everything that's happened, the leaks, the audio clips, the secret meetings, the cameo rumors, the lawyers scrambling, the rival rapper stirring the pot, the internet losing its mind, it all led to this moment. The moment the supposed final scene leak hit the timeline and sent shockwaves across the culture. People were screaming, crying, fighting, refreshing their feeds like they were waiting for the world to explode. And suddenly the conversation wasn't just about Drake or Gambino or legal threats. It was about what this moment meant for the entire industry, loyalty being tested, boundaries being pushed, egos clashing in real time. It was the perfect storm of art, pride, and power colliding at the center of the culture. But here's the craziest part. We still don't know what's real and what's fabrication. We still don't know who leaked what, who's lying, who's exaggerating, who's playing 4D chess, and who's just stirring the pot for clout. Was the final scene even authentic? Was the cameo real? Did Drake's legal team actually send the threat letter, or was it another fan-made hoax that spiraled out of control? Did Gambino plan all this as part of a massive performance art piece, or is the rival rapper orchestrating everything from behind the scenes? Nobody has answers yet, not officially, not clearly, and that means the next move, the next leak, the next post, the next reaction could change everything. This story isn't over, not even close. In fact, some people say the real twist hasn't even dropped yet. So now it's your turn. Do you think this release is real? Was the scene legit? Was the entire leak staged for hype? Who do you think is really pulling the strings? Drake, Gambino, the rival rapper, or someone else entirely? Let me know in the comments because this situation is getting wilder by the hour. Smash that like button, hit subscribe for, and drop your hottest theory down below. Trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next.